12 News is your local election headquarters. Now we continue our Where They Stand series on WPRI.com. I'm Ray Bakari. Joining us today is the Republican nominee for Rhode Island Senate District 26, Jenn Caputi. The district is located in the city of Cranston, and regardless of whoever wins the election for this seat next month in November, there will be a new state senator come next session because the current state senator, Frank Lombardi, is not seeking re-election this year. Jenn, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
In 60 seconds or less, why do you want to be the next state senator for District 26?
Because of the horrible state that our state is in. For far too long, we've been ruled by one party machine, and this machine is getting larger. And what do we have to show for it? We have crumbling economy, crumbling bridges, failing schools. We are ranked at the bottom in a lot of categories. So as I realized as I was seeing this happen, I could either take action and do something about it, or continue to watch the state decline. So I decided to take action, run for office, and work on solutions to the problems that our state has. I want to be able to represent the people of our community, and the people being the working class, the families, seniors, veterans, and small business owners. And as a small business owner, I have a law firm inside Garden City Center. I know what it's like to own a business. I'm an attorney practicing law, trained in the law. And for me, with my profession, I think it's a natural step to bring my knowledge and my expertise to the legislature. And because of my business, with the flexibility that I have, I'm able to commit time and efforts to representing the people of our community and hopefully getting this state turned back around.
One of the biggest votes you would have to cast each year in the GA is the state's budget. Currently it's sitting at $14 billion, and this upcoming session it looks like the tightening of the belt is going to have to start happening because all the federal money's been spent, The Washington Bridge rebuild is going to cost a lot, and there's a projected deficit. So going into this, if you're elected, what are some things on your mind that might need to be cut out of a budget, and what are some things that are must-stays?
Well, this budget or the spending plan is the problem. For 1 year, from $9 billion, it ballooned to $14.1 billion. And once again, what do we have to show for it? Not a whole lot. Ranked the worst state to retire in, worst state to open a business in, failing schools. So if I were elected, I would be looking closely at the agencies and the departments that are getting funded and look to cut wasteful spending to put more money back to the taxpayers and get the state back on track.
You mentioned schools in the last couple of answers. That plays into my next question, which focuses on education. A lot of legislators come in with their own idea of the educational reform that they'll champion. Some will say universal pre-K, some say school choice or charter schools. What would be your educational reform of choice?
Well, my educational reform is to focus all planning and spending on higher academic standards and more resources and tools for both the students and the teachers. Curriculum should be prioritized on English, writing, history, civics, STEM subjects. The classroom should not be a social laboratory for political purposes. So my focus is raising the academic standards and empowering the teachers to teach and educate our students. So that's what I will be focused on, accomplishing that if I were elected.
On the same ballot that your race is on, there's also going to be question number 1, which is going to ask Rhode Island voters, should there be a constitutional convention or not? This comes up every 10 years, typically the year that ends with the number 4. How do you feel about that question?
So that question for me is twofold. So you have the people's position, and then there's my position. So for the people's position, I really encourage the voters to educate themselves on the Constitution and then what a Rhode Island Constitution Convention actually means, because it's really a people's branch of government. So it's not something that should be taken lightly. So they should be informed before they decide. And whatever the people do decide, I will support. For me personally, as an attorney and finding the Constitution very sacred, I do have my reservations because of the freedoms and the rights that the Constitution gives us. So if we open the door to a Rhode Island convention on the Constitution, we could be putting risking and jeopardizing some of those freedoms and rights that I'm not sure I want to do. So I'm still going through that process to see what I personally will vote.
So as of right now, you're personally leaning against the question, you personally?
Personally, yes, due to the risk of being ruled by one party and having a lot of special interest groups in there pushing for it, and therefore potentially sacrificing some of our sacred rights.
My final question is more on the political side. You're in a district that's the true political battleground this year, the city of Cranston. There's also a mayoral race that's going to be on that ballot. Who are you supporting between Republican Mayor Ken Hopkins and Democrat citywide Councilman Robert Ferry?
100% Republican candidate Ken Hopkins. I've supported him from the beginning, as he has supported me, and we both look forward to working together, with me at the State House bringing the best interest of Cranston from the state down to Cranston, so we both together can make Cranston even better.
That's all the questions I had. Jen, thank you for giving us your time for this. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. It was a great experience.
And thank you for tuning into this edition of Where They Stand. Remember, 12 News is your local election headquarters. We have other interviews focusing on local races this year, as well as a full voter guide available on WPRI.com. For now, Ray Bakari, 12 News.